Yo, 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 yo. Like the location. Still think we've got a little bit lower. Still think we've got a little bit lower, personally. Right, we've actually got a lot to clean up down here that we haven't really tapped into. Maiden sign of strength, I suppose. That would be an area I'd be very interested in at 179 there. The issue that I have with this right now, we're getting both sides, but this validated came back in, and now we're kind of chopping around. If she wants to run, she's really going to run. She's probably going to run up to these 69s, which actually isn't as wild of a range as I thought it would be, even though this is about 100 points almost already. How's everybody's long weekend? What's going on? Kicking off the ETF anniversary week. You're seeing this as well. I think if that can't, like this is the candle that validated underneath this one, right? We're seeing major issues there. In fact, I should be short, at least for a movement down, but I don't like shorting the lows. Don't like shorting the lows at all, right? But I can understand this piece of price action. But this isn't where you want to sell like here, right? Although I suppose you could. This is sort of, you want to react based off of this because this is an aggressive trade in this location, right? You're basically saying the market's refusing to go up, so where's it going to go? Right? Hey, buddy.
I went down for a coffee and something melted down.
Melting is right. Right. So at the very least, you're going, well, I'm definitely not long, right? Regardless of what goes on, I'm definitely not long. We at least need another shove. Now, my guess is that this is a bit of a change in personality now. You haven't got any wick on this candle, and look at all this. Right? So if we're going to run pretty quickly here. Right? Bang, bang, bang. Good morning, good morning. Wifey's got a whole bunch of stuff prepared for you guys. I'm going to keep talking about Thursday. Woo! Why exactly did I not short that again? Why exactly did I not short that again? Not the ideal trade you guys want to take, but the whole point of studying price action is essentially to determine failures, right? And if we're going to run and this is going to fail miserably here, then not only we take this low, but we've got an area of interest here that we're interested in taking long. So now, in theory, you've got a trade from the 40s, and you got 60 points if you're right, versus like 15 points if you're wrong. Less than that. Less than that. But this is just murder, at least so far. Murder. Nasty business. Not really interested in taking an aggressive trade out. I can understand it entirely. Right? We've got 3 minutes to go. You've got a new 50-minute candle, right? So in theory, we could sweep that out. But that's a bit of a stretch. Right? In theory, we could drop into here, and then if we see validation and defense and go, that would be a beautiful long, but I think that's a bit of a stretch, right? As it stands right now, we might wait for a 950, something to happen with the 4-hour candle, which is deeply concerning, right? Like, woo, but
It's almost like someone's been saying that data high is a very big point in the market.
huge point in the market. Huge point in the market.
We target it and then see what happens. I do that.
Anybody been watching hockey lately, by the way? This could end up being something. We didn't really get any sweep or any sort of entry for me, so this would have to validate and then fail to go lower, and then at least we'll be trading up to this. Right?
But
I don't...
At least this is good now, puts in the low for 10 o'clock, right? So hopefully we get a sweep of it at 10.
That would be nice. Or a sweep of this here at 950, and then we get a bit of a blast.
Yeah, it'd be nicer if the like 10 o'clock candle hit it, then that would be like a 4-hour, 1 hour, bunch of sweeps for at least a decent pullback. When's the gold medal game? That's
Thursday.
tomorrow night?
Thursday.
Thursday. I've seen old Patty Cakes is doing a stream for it.
Is he? What a guy.
Yeah, he's been talking some mad shit.
Half of the Twitter posts I see regarding the Four Nations is, didn't we already beat Canada? Why do we have to play them again? And I'm going, you guys have never watched a hockey game in your life, eh? You mean there's a regular season and a playoff? What? What is this?
I've had this low at 156 marked off for a while too. I like that low.
Yeah, I don't even know where this 163 half came from actually myself. Oh, I just put that in there. It was prior zone. That's what it is. Yeah, we definitely could take these out. Bang, bang. Into this large zone. I think that's fair.
And I kind of had my OTE pulled on that one from the high that was produced before. So like the high at 280. So that brings the OTE down a little bit to like the midpoint of that pocket is like right at that low.
Yeah. Oop.
now too?
Yeah, I'm live on YouTube. I was just actually posting to Twitter the link.
No, sorry.
Yeah, I was talking about how to. Now, look, Jordan was great. Jordan was great. NQ, thank you for bringing this up. Jordan was great. Phenomenal, right? But there's a major consideration where people are like, is he even the best in basketball? Right? You don't have that in hockey. You don't have that in hockey. That's all I'm going to say on that.
Who says that, man?
Look, I'm going to miss this trade because of this now. Look at you guys. Ah! Get back down there. It's got to validate. It's got to validate 95. Did you hit this? Tom's probably in from like 63. Where is Tom? He's not even in here. What's he doing? Is he on the holidays again? Did you hit this?
No, bro, I was messing around.
Messed around with me? Yeah.
What's the 5?
950 exactly. Did I, like, this is exactly what I want to see, and then I'm sitting here chatting about Jordan. See?
Oh, yeah. Look at her boy.
All right. Every good Wombo will have a second one. So I'm just going to be a little patient. Little patient. Please tell me somebody hit this. Please tell me Zach. Thank you, Zach. Thank you, Zach. Matthias got it at 70? All right. All right. My goodness. Great. So pretty much you and I are yapping away, and the entire chat takes us. So proud of you guys. Actually, that's phenomenal trades. All of you guys, all three of you guys that have posted anyway, and all you lurkers that I know took it and don't want the accolades for it. Phenomenal trade. Phenomenal trade plan and idea and execution. That's one way. That's a hell of a way to start a week off. Hats off to you. So this is coming into here. I think that I would be very, very inclined to not take this short. I can entirely understand it rebounding from here. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. Right? So you do something like this, and then that would respect, and then that would be a larger move. Right? You've got your 5-minute CRT, which should take that high at 26 as well. I'd be shocked if it doesn't.
Miz,
like, Wing took it, Miz took it, Jesse feels attacked. That's all right. Character building, Jesse. You thought we were only here for trades? No.
Couldn't leave it, eh? Bully couldn't just leave the Jordan pot for the morning.
Well, between you and the wife, he was trying on shoes. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for throwing that in the mix.
Man's just sending me hate posts about Jordan while trying on some J's.
I had a mini midlife crisis. All right, we'll leave it at that. Mini midlife crisis.
Fill up my coffee while I cry. I miss this.
Oh, we'll get a retest. We'll get a retest. The question is, will we want to take it? The goat can resale shoes and has even played in years. Yeah, all right. Fair. Fair. He is the businessman. I think Gretz is into wineries and whatnot. He's got a winery that's like 3 blocks down from where I live. Man. I think if we validate a high, we're trading back down to this consolidation. And the expectation of that valid high would be that we take this low. I don't think I'll take it short regardless because of the 5-minute sweep that we've got here, and I'd be more concerned about running up a little bit further. You could argue this consolidation, failing to go lower, you get your inside sweep as well. That's very aggressive and very tricky, but those are scalps that are viable. We blast up into this zone. So the ideal situation for any short, if you guys are looking short, and I'll probably pass on it personally, is I want to stock along for both of these. I'd like that. Right? We've also failed to break your intermediate time frame low here. We've taken the liquidity and we've launched back up. So I'm more long biased. I'm just looking at potential areas that are going to deliver into the spot that we want to get long again. And that would be sort of your adding opportunity as well for you swing traders in here. For all you diamond hands. Right? So again, looking, this high is your 5-minute. We ideally take that into the wombo and then leave. I can't justify this otherwise. And if it doesn't take it now and it retraces, that it's probably saving it for later, which is fine by me. I love stacking multiple objectives when I'm looking long, right? The prior zone is here at 23.25, right? This one that we actually validated and then left. So ideally we leave that, but it's unlikely that we're not going to trade into it, at least a tap before returning back down. This has to be reaching for something. It's not just bouncing for no reason, right? And given that there's no SNDR here, it would have to reach into the zone, right? Completed its objective. If we're going to retrace, it's going to retrace now. Again, can't really justify shorting, although I would have liked potential retracement into these 90s here or something like that. You'll notice as well that I have my OTE or my wombo combo, I should say, not really the OTE of this leg here, and I'm considering this to be manipulation into this area of interest. You see that we had consolidation. So we'll see if this aggressive trade, or if this gives us an aggressive trade, or if we get some form of confirmation down here, right?
15's about to close here too.
Yeah. Yeah, I think unless the 15 closes underneath 92, I'll be looking for long. Don't you dare off the validation candle, you prick. Get back down there. Yeah, definitely expecting higher. Definitely expecting higher. Bias time frames taking all this liquidity. Obviously, we have our violent movement down. This would be your, like we kind of traded back in, and then we sort of had internal movement that failed here, right? Which led to this unload. I don't really think this is based off of a break of structure, right? If this traded and went like this, and then we got our lethargic movement, and now that second distribution, that's see you later. This, to me, kind of traded back into the zone. We then had a movement back up that failed, leading to an unload. I think it's a little bit different contextually. Get down there and then run. Might be looking at an aggressive trade here around 89 or so. You could argue this as well. I'm more inclined to be a little bit aggressive, even though we traded into this zone we're now leaving. And that was a bit of a blast. Let's see. Jesus, yeah. Can't be hitting that when it drops in like that, though. Ooh. At minimum, this should trade back up to this area of interest, but can't justify going long in this just yet. I really like that, but as you know, like dropping into here with urgency, you need to see a little bit of a reaction, even if you're trading aggressively. Even if you're trading aggressively, right? So obviously missed opportunity in that short, wanted it a little bit higher. But we'll see where this goes. Right, now this would be considered a manipulation leg. So there's your 2.5. Here's your 4. Right, it's a little extended. We're trading back into this area of interest. My guess is that a lot of people bought in here. Fair enough. We just created another zone. Let's get rid of some of this now. Obviously that pocket didn't hold. Bearish structure, so yes, confirmation trade on it. If we're going to run, that area would have been respected, which means we needed to take this low. So that's sort of one of those situations where, okay, we're looking at 89. We got no reaction from it. So this low goes down. And that, I mean, that happened immediately, which is great, right? If you're short, I suppose. But, yeah, and I think that's fair. The issue that I have is that failed to validate. I love the idea, right? And bang. And you know, we didn't even trade into this objective, right? You could argue that we actually did trade into the higher time frame zone, right? This one here. No problem with that trade. No problem with that trade. In fact, I think a lot of people were long in there with you. Here's 10:03. So in fact, we've actually swept out your 15 minute, right?
15 and the hourly.
And the hourly.
And the 4 hour.
Right. What do I got here? Yeah. Look at this. Gross. No SNDR to risk off of either. So if we want to continue running and this validates, then we pretty much just take all of this. This is sort of dangerous too. You probably get an attempt at least if we're going to trade up, even if we validate, this should try and resume the trend. I doubt we get underneath this, and then that would lead a higher. But as it stands right now, we're still structurally bearish, right? Now you could even argue as well, you got something like that. I think that's very aggressive if you're looking at the retracement leg here. That's very aggressive. But let's keep this simple. Let's keep it simple. Right? I do like this movement at least to take this 86 high. We're trading sort of into that that prior pocket that we had, so that would have been this. And you'll notice as well, these usually act as magnets because a lot of people will go long based off of limit orders in there. So usually we trade up and mitigate them. Now that might have been the attempt. That's kind of a little bit of a weak sell-off. Personally, I think that this is going to go a little bit higher, but I need to justify it with an internal sweep. And my stop will be underneath that candle. Ouch. Right, stop will be underneath this. And the idea is trading into these 89s. And if we blast through, then awesome. But we would need to validate this low in first as well. Nice internal sweep. Will probably leave this at about a 10-point stop. Where am I in from? 71. Right, so leave that there. Right, now we should at least take this high if we're going to run, 85, and then attempt this high at 86. And if that gets wrecked, then I'm flat. You'll notice I'm not break even here. I need to see movement, or I need to see it hit my stop, right? So even now, if we attempt to sell off, there we go. And probably just gonna take that off there. All right, this very well could run. I think that's fair, but given that we're contextually bearish, taking that scalp, right? And if it makes me look silly, it makes me look silly. But guess what? With this volatility and this PA, there's probably going to be a lot of trades today. Probably going to be a lot of trades today. Ooh, she might get some gas. Could you validate? 8 seconds. Oh, she did, didn't she? She did. Good girl. Are you in from here?
Yeah, I took scalp too. I'll see if we get failure here.
What a guy. What a guy. This will be important if we can close underneath this and we accelerate down, versus if something like that happens. Big decision. Whoop. Lots of pressure. See if they can achieve anything, or this is going to be a firecracker. I'm sitting on my hands still. Oh dear me. Oh dear me. So let's get rid of that. I think we can all understand where that's going now, right? We still have that 5. You've got your 5 that's now taking liquidity, failed underneath. Major decision to be made here. 15 still bearish. And we'll find out pretty quickly if this movement now fails, right? They can accumulate in here all they like, right? But we're looking at if that validates or not. That's a big shove, obviously. So I'm sitting on my hands as a result. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. 10 seconds, do they save it? Highly unlikely. But I'm here for all of it if they do. Nope. Do you get your trade back in? Or do we just die? Now this response will be very important. We did validate, so the expectation of this high should be to take this low. Right? I think that it will trade back up to here to at least mitigate a lot of those positions. They love collecting their orders. But if it blasts through, well, guess what? Then we just made internal structure, which should take this high and continue onwards. Even after that nasty candle. Don't you love how they like to accumulate people? They are maestros at it, aren't they? I don't know. Seems kind of sus to me. You would have expected something similar follow through, not this. We might have to go a little bit higher, maybe even sweep this 90. But I think if we really start running from this, then we trade it at least up to this manipulation of the 200s. Woof.
I got back in on that 10-10 candle.
This one? You bought the bearish one.
Yeah, but I sold for 5 handles.
That's all right. That's all right. I think you could justify that it was doing this until this response came in. Right? Especially this one. But this one, that was kind of like we were expecting death. And they got wrecked. And now we got internal structure going on here.
That's the candle I sold on.
Whoop, whoop.
You would think 24 is on the menu now, at least.
Yeah, internal structure? I think so. I think we get a bounce out of this area if we're looking at this. Right? You might get a little bounce that comes back into here, and then we rocket ship.
At least go up and test that 50-minute FVG, right?
Yeah.
We kind of got like a CRT thing happening here now.
Yeah. None of this has been surprising to me at all. None of it. And yet I've only taken one trade. Like, what the hell? I should have in retrospect looked short, and that would have really paid me, I think. I just wanted that 5-minute sweep. But this price action, I mean, selling here with the stop above, that's pretty it's pretty gorgeous. Pretty gorgeous. We'll see if we get a wombo or something out of here. Now that we've got an internal structure, right? Valid low, valid high, valid low. You could argue that it's coming back to the pocket. Are they going to do this again? No, they're not. 10-point stop. This should at minimum hit the 23.6 if we're going to continue higher. The only reason I'm involved here is because we've taken the flat bottom into our wombo combo now, right? This is probably a safer entry with internal structure on your side, right? But this could very well just clap me, which it looks like it's going to. Okay. Nasty business. Okay. Trade's not offside, just not for my entry that I liked. I will hop back in if we get a violent sweep in here. But I thought that given the PA that we would get quite a bit more lift than we did. See if we take that 68 low or not. There she goes, wild. Close at 68, that's gross. That's gross. It'll protect a low sweep. I'll get back down there. And my stop will be underneath this candle as well. What is that, 63? And this will be a swing if we're going to fail or not. Right? You'll notice that actually didn't close underneath, so we haven't violated this internal structure, even with this nastiness. So, I mean, this has got to close bullish. Otherwise, we're running a little bit lower. But I'm leaning heavily on this internal structure not failing. No, this is probably going to take me out again. Okay. Definitely closed. See if I can mitigate this. Up to 70. Oh my goodness. There we go. And I'm fine with that, given that we just broke structure, even if we do get a bounce into here and I left some on the table. Right? Not wild about that internal structure break. The sell in here after we had our accumulation, manipulation, and then left. Nice, Luke. Oh boy. Right, so it looks like I left 10 points on the table, at least. Let's get rid of this now. Same sort of thing applies as we did here. You see how it traded back into it, and that was where the reaction came from. The expectation of this is where the volume is at 83. So in theory, I could have held a little bit longer, I suppose, but trade ID became invalid, so I mitigated on the gift that it traded back up. Right, and we are looking at something like this, where you've got this movement, which is now broken, trades back in. We would expect lower. Five-minute high swept. Probably should have had that marked out, but all hindsight. Fine taking that loss, whatever that was. And I probably should have held this for a little bit longer than I did as well. So what's next, eh? What's next? Now that our 15 is giving us all kinds of fun. Do we trade a little bit deeper into this, or does that go? I think that we've already technically closed above this in the 15 and traded back in. We built an SNDR. We're kind of tapping into this area, right? We would actually expect that, right? We already broke structure after tapping into it once. Strong move. We might get our double bottom inside of it. I think we definitely take this low here, though, at 45. 45. Especially given this PA. Not really seeing what I want. I think that this is building an SNDR. In fact, I'm considering, even though we've just validated here, I think that if we trade into this and have a reaction, then I might hit it short for the idea of the SNDR. I don't really like the hourly sweep, but I think that the break of structure has to be respected in this instance. Definitely not wild about shorting near the lows, even with failure. I think I'm going to try with a 10-point stop. Right, and I should get follow through on this. Even though we validated, I'm expecting consolidation here to then run this, and that would be your final push, expecting the SNDR to get liquidated at 45. But this should be finished business now and gone. Otherwise, I'm probably flat on this. Right, but this idea would be this low at 49. Let's go there. You know, let me put a target in. There we go. So if this push is weak, which it pretty much needs to be, otherwise this is going to be a very, very short trip. And it looks like it's going to be a very, very short trip. Okay. Probably should have waited and been a little bit less eager, but no, I think it's fine. Again, narrative that we should not rally from here. We should not rally from here. Still got my target down there, good. Right. Now this is a trade where I would want to be break even. And if it comes up and stops me out, then fine. You're a schmuck. But this should be finished business and gone based off the SNDR narrative. Not really interested in a sweep fail. But I'm going to allow this to run a little bit more than it is. Get rid of that now. Right, we're not really interested in the 20 points, although I probably should have just taken that. In hindsight, obviously. But the idea is that we range here and then take that low, and if I'm wrong, then I'm positioned accordingly for the break even. Yeah, I took a stop in there and fine. But we'll see. Not what I want to see. Not what I want to see at all. Right? More buying occurring. I want to see a little bit more death, and I probably should have just hit that off, but we'll see. In theory, this should be above, but the reason that I'm short and break even is because I don't think that this should be, like, if this is going to be manipulation, it shouldn't return back up to here. Just shouldn't. Right. So now I'll sit on my hands, both of those trades. One of them obviously just had a little bit higher to go, which is annoying, but that is what it is. And second one taken out by a tick. Now I get to watch this run if it's going to. I think the idea is valid still, but just didn't get what I wanted to see. That was what I wanted to see. That's a frustrating one by one tick. So I'll sit on my hands and watch this go, if it's going to. Your 1030, see if you get an SNDR sweep and then a blast. Had pretty high what's that?
The old chunkster just peed in the house, so
Oh, nice.
go deal with that. How nice of them, right?
Oh, shit, that just triggered me into that. Immediately put a stop in. I think the idea, I was actually considering it as well, which is why I'm still in this trade, but I think that the only reason that we would consider it would be the SNDR sweep. Not really wild about this trade, of course, but we'll see if this... I would have rather been in a little bit lower on the sweep fail at like 43 or something. So let's probably just
Did you
get...
get that?
Well, I had my
On the books?
I had my limit order, yeah, and it was still in there, so there's another 10 points. Fun times. That is so ridiculous. Taken out by a tick and then 50 points later. Thank you, Mr. Market. All right. 10:28, we'll wait for a 5-minute close, or this closes inside, which is going to be quite interesting. Right? You'll also have a new 15-minute candle when that closes there. So just gave the market an extra 10 points. That was kind of me.
I bet you get it back.
I bet I get it back too. What was the point of this candle? Trading all the way back up there. Absolutely nothing other than, like, I probably should have had a 3-point stop, given that it hadn't attempted to resume the bullish trend, but that's really ridiculous. Well, yeah, I suppose. They're going after my sim stops. Right? We do have an area of consolidation that I think we return to, so I will be stalking along here for sure. I think that'll happen at 10:30 though. Ideally we get a sweep. Now if we get strong buying that comes in here, then great. That would be the first step. Second step would either be an attempt to resume this trend that fails versus a sweep of this 30-25 low. That would be the ideal situation. Right, creating a 15 and a 5 and a 30 minute, if you could trade off the 30 valid low. We're then looking for that to, ideally this closes here, we then sweep it out, right? Now, I mean, that could sweep like down to here, who knows? But ideally the sweep happens and a reaction there will give you an aggressive trade. We then validate, you might get a trade back in if you're gonna look to add, and then we trade up to this area of interest here. Don't do it like that. 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 44.75 equal highs. There they go. If we're going to come below this, we should do this now. If this validates, then I can't justify waiting for the sweep. It might happen, but the probability is lower. Right, and this is also your 3 drive pattern on your intermediate time frame too. Here we go, 30.25. Come on now. There it goes. Lots of buying, lots of buying. Not really sure why I didn't just hit that, but here we are. Okay, and this should like run, at least validating this high at 44. This has got to close above that. And if it can, and we run, then you're looking for a trade, ideally back into here, maybe like 39 or something like that, and then that would be your adding opportunity, right?
I'll break even at 34.50.
Oh, beat you by a tick.
Oh, did you?
Beat you by a tick. Yeah, I almost flubbed it too because I was sort of limit ordering on the way back down. No, I am accumulation drops blast. This is gone. I'm hoping that I get an inside sweep for an ad, and then we'll ride this up to the 70s at minimum.
Yeah, I got my target because I only took one con, so I'm targeting 58 for my TP here. Just sweep this bearish candle out and then see what happens. I want to see this push here. There we go.
Boop, boop. All right, so that low was 39.75. Here we go. Perfectly fine with this. As long as we sweep. Ideally, we don't create a valid high, but I mean, that's, I suppose, feasible. I don't like how there's no imbalance here. I would have much preferred that. Right, but I'm actually looking at this running to like this, the 80s here. But certainly into this consolidation. Let's go, let's go, let's go. There's your inside high. Mikey, a legend. Also coincides with this SNDR. That very well could be an objective hit.
A lot of sun coming in there.
Did you take it?
Yeah. I got flapped out there at the high.
All right. Violencia? Is this going to punish me for greedy? Expecting something in here in the 70s? You guys riding this? We've got no break in order flow yet. That's a nasty bearish candle. Response so far, not bad. A little bit of your inverse smiley. Took it with Mikey. All right.
Yeah, I think if it's gonna really pull back up in there, it'll announce itself, and then I'll be able to get back on the bus. You know what I mean?
I think so. I'm comfortable holding this because of the setup, but I think that the account growing should have been out here, I think. We'll see what ends up happening in here. I like that we haven't broken any of these. I think we sweep them out, in which case I'll look to add. I can't add or justify adding up in here. Right? That's a weak response here, but we'll see what ends up happening.
That was good. That was good.
Oh, baby. Let's see if we can follow through. Right, position evolving. No valid highs just yet to have any sort of concerns. Right, so all the selling in the world, it's got to achieve something. This candle couldn't even break this candle's low. Now, whether we sweep and fail this 58 or not, we'll find out pretty quick. And I'm considering getting out of this. No, did I just miss it? Maybe. I'd love if this was a weak bear bar. And we just cook. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Up to the 70s. Up to the 70s. At least the 60s. At least 63-ish. Just having a really hard time, eh?
We can start closing about that bearish one with the candle. That'd be good.
Mm-hmm. The reason I like this is I like trading into this area here, right? That low being 63. I think at minimum we should trade into it. At minimum, at minimum, at minimum. Whoop! I'm going to take that now. 30 points. 30 points. I think that this is starting to get a little explosive, right? So I don't want to be part of a climactic move that comes down, but I'm gonna lock in there. Hopefully you guys grabbed some of that. Little annoying in terms of the short. What did I take a loss there, short, and then break even, right? So that should have been what, 50 points, and then
There's nice
huh?
Sorry, there's nice trend line liquidity now all the way up to 224. If this really wants to get going.
Yeah, I like that we have internal sweeps here, but you see that we kind of have your barbecue set up, right? So now you got your SNDR.
Yeah.
If we break this SNDR, then we trade back into the area that was responsible for it and we run.
Yeah. Gotta get above that.
Now, reminder of you guys a couple of things. Number one is that, I'll actually put it in the chat here. ETF is 3. So what we're doing is we're adjusting all of our membership and mentorship and all that sort of stuff, right? So if you want to learn how to get stopped out, break even, and then miss a 50-point move, now is your now is your opportunity. I'm just kidding. Right, but these sort of systematic trades, you guys see them all the lads in the room hitting, same sort of thing. Mikey and I included. That code will give you $30 off. So we're dropping the mentorship to 99, and then the ETF code actually takes your first month down to $69. Sort of a celebration, but we're going to be streaming live all week for free. So make sure you guys tune in if you're enjoying all this fun stuff. And then going forward, it's going to be a $99 mentorship going forward. And that includes the psychology stuff that we're putting out there, which is pretty insane. Pretty insane. Should I still be in this?
Yeah. If
Right.
you had a runner.
Climactic, parabolic. Not unhappy that I sold in there, right? But liking the reaction, right? Here comes. So this is a bit of a different valid high now, right?
Yeah.
Because we're no longer in this leg. We've actually got multiple legs going on. So for the same reason we were kind of looking short in here because of this. Right? This is not structural. This was an attempt to resume the trend. Non-structural. We should, in theory, clear all that out. Should clear all that out. The whole thing is sus. Isn't it? Look at this. This is cover your drinks type.
Yeah.
Like, my goodness. Oh, no, we're not.
I just don't
Oh,
like,
no, we're not.
like how that 5 didn't close above that bear candle.
We got 2.5 minutes. Maybe we get our first 15-minute bullish candle in this entire nonsense. All right, but we needed that SNDR sweep. We needed that SNDR sweep. Are we green in here, lads? Mucho dinero? Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Can't believe I gave back 10 points here. That was nonsense.
That's in order, that's gross.
That was nonsense. That was nonsense. It's because I got hit break even and I usually mark it in, mark it out. That was nasty, that sweep there. Flat bottom candle and your validation candle. Their blast. Came back, reloaded. Probably runs above this high now. Still a little sus. Still a little sus, but no valid high created despite much selling occurring. Not good for bears. Not good for bears. And I mean, you could probably justify it. Okay, cool. We should be trading back down to here. We definitely did not. Definitely did not. Right? You've got that candle there. We've got no valid 5-minute low. I think we attempted here the 80s and could make me look a little silly. Lost 10, gained 35. That's cool. I like those apples. I like those apples. At least wait for a 5-minute valid low. Right? In which case, even if that validates the low, then you get a movement back in.
Oh man, I got back in and I sold for like just a little over 5 handles. I bet I'm gonna regret this.
5 handles.
Yeah, I just wasn't liking how that 43 candle was shaping up, but then it closed strong. So let's see what happens to this little volume imbalance between the two on
Yeah, we've got like nothing in here in terms of urgency.
Yeah.
Like nothing. Maybe here if we get this in 10 seconds. That's your first one. And I think we trade into this here.
That's what I'm saying. Now I want to see what happens there.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we did close above that bullish.
Look at this. Look at this. Urgency. No, there's not. Urgency. No, there's not. No shorts for me, that's for sure. And if I miss it, I miss it. I think you can justify it out of this SNDR, but I'm starting to think we're getting a little long in the tooth in this this bearish movement, right? We're seeing dump, but then lack of urgency on follow through, right? Wrecked. Cool. Okay, at least that broke structure, but you had some urgency come in, right? This kind of announced itself, which is why we were looking short in there. You're kind of looking for something similar, price to tip its hand, at least a valid high, which in theory could be happening now, right? This was your last structural bull bar. Did it close above this one? 3 seconds. Here you go. Where's the bear flags? You're looking for at least a break in order flow. This has to generate that now. There it goes. And now you might get something, but my guess is it's just gone. Just continue moving this as it just flies lower. Nope. Well, maybe. Can't rule it out. But my goodness. There goes all of that we were talking about. Saving it for later. Tasty. I don't think I could justify taking it short now, even though it's probably valid. I think if it runs up to here, I'd be a little little uncertain now. Let's put it that way. Still no valid, right? In fact, we haven't even been attempting the highs, which is also a sign of how strong the bearish PA is. Also a reminder, guys, after close today, there'll be a market structure workshop, which we basically go over a lot of the stuff from the basic free YouTube playlist that we got, but we'll apply it to today's action, and we'll kind of do a bit of a refresher for those of you guys that are still trying to pick up market structure. And then the schedule's been updated as well, so you'll have workshops all week designed from a bit of an immersion standpoint. This could trade back up to that manipulation leg. Can't justify it, of course, but be interesting if we had that sort of movement up that then failed into that pocket that we just eliminated. Bit of a smiley coming in. Bit of a smiley. She closes bullish. Look at that. Happy days. Happy days. Right? Back at the origin of the move. Taking all this liquidity. The only imbalances have been on the bearish side. That's not true. We actually had that one there that inversed pretty quick. And then we had those there that inversed really quick. Barely. Barely. Hands up if you've taken any shorts today at all. Anybody? Or are we only seeing the long side? Anybody taking only shorts today? Nice. Following structure, Ellis. Good for you. I've hit both. Good lad. Ambidextrous in the market. Boom.
If we can't generate anything here, I got 92 and 42 is.
Oh yeah, she's gonna happen as soon as I have to leave.
Big rolls to be.
It's gonna happen as soon as I have to leave. You're hopping on after you get like just a quick break.
Yeah.
All right.
Here a little bit.
Legend. Ooh. Where do we have that pocket drawn from? Is that still viable? This leg didn't really achieve anything other than validate a high, in fairness, right? I would have wanted to see it break that low, so this is a little sus, but I can understand this wombo being traded into. Again, sort of the reason that I talked about, I wouldn't really want it to see trade back up into here. But I can understand if you guys want to hit that short. Just not really my style. There's your first target of the 23.6, 42. This is getting a little bit crazy. I think that if we're going to accumulate and then run everybody out, or this breaks and then we're really away to the races because we've now created a valid high that didn't do anything. You've got a major internal structure similar to this, except this got a little tight, mitigated this zone, then left. We've already traded back into the SNDR and mitigated this area of interest, right? So there's really nothing stopping it, at least from these 86 highs, and then potentially, if we want to break structure, we're moving above this. I think that's fair. Right? So we want to see this area disrespected, which currently might be. Right? We did break order flow, so this would be really against the green if this wanted to move, which tells you which time frame is actually responsible for it. Right? That's kind of price tipping its hand in that instance, where if we now break above this, then you're looking for a trade, ideally back into the SNDR that's going to be created in here. You'll very likely see a brief consolidation, which then runs up. Now, I mean, this is sort of an ideal scenario, is that we create an SNDR, and that's mainly so that we have something to risk off of when it comes back down. But this very well could just be a higher time frame and leave as well, in which case then we've got an extension that we want to look at. Still sitting on my hands.
15's looking nice now.
The smiley never lies, Mikey. The smiley never lies. Right? So we might get a trade back down, or there might be a long that comes out of these 50s, I think. Unless this closes above this candle. We get rid of some of these lines, I suppose, eh? You got your higher time frame Womboid, you got that we can get rid of. We got this that we get rid of. This was that SMDR. I'm going to leave that for an idea. And I think, probably got something like 50s might be a little bit. I like this fractal, that high to that low. But this looks like it might just be a way to the races. Maybe stab into here, respect this area of interest. Maybe. Nice trade. Nice trade, Bird. Bandito Vandito. Legend. You're swinging too, eh? Swinging. I suppose that's fair. Really get a good mitigation of this area. I want this to trade back in and then run.
I don't think get to like 71 or so. 71, 66, something like that.
Yeah, she is. She is not. If you're in, you're happy. If you're not in, you're like, please. This bear move was the attempt that's supposed to fail to go up? Maybe. When do we know that, though? Right? We know that when the attempt to continue it, right? So it's not even this candle, right? Because that's not a structural bear bar. We had this push up into this imbalance, which then this movement here, where Van had entered on, after that failed. That's not what we want to see from a bearish standpoint. We could argue that this movement in here, right? And that attempt was that. I suppose that's true as well. Right? But, sweeping that 5 minute, Zach just pointed out, good eye for sure. We'll see if that gives us a trade back down to here. Can't justify getting involved for my system. I can completely understand it. And by the way, like, the more this goes up, the more confirmation we have essentially on the move. Now, I mean, your probabilities also are inversely affected by your risk, right? So if you're long here at 83, where's your stop? It's not 10 points, right? Ideally, it's underneath this, which just became protected, right? Valid low, valid high, valid low, which then became protected now. So ideally, you're risking off of structure, My guess is this validates the 5 minute. Right? Maybe we get a little bit of accumulation here after taking this high, which in theory as well, right? This traded up. We actually had internal structure that broke structure there internally, traded up, validated a high, which then became protected. We then traded up to that area of interest, which also functioned as an SNDR, right? Put in a valid high, which now is internal structure as well. So in theory, we've just broken this protected high here. And I think we've got a little bit of accumulation here so we can justify it as a major break in structure.
Did that 5 minute, did that we validate that low on the 5?
We attempted, the high of it was here. We still haven't closed above on the 5. That was the closure there. Or sorry, this was, I suppose.
I like the 5 minute looks nice right now though.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, this is going to be a gorgeous trade as soon as I have to step away. Right, so there's your 5. And my guess is that we validate that and then we challenge this 207. Oh. Now, this would be an aggressive trade for that exact reason. That 5 minute just swept and couldn't validate. So in theory, looking for longs, this is actually extremely aggressive inside of this area of interest. Right? Especially given that we've got a minute for the turn of the hour. Yeah. I still consider this manipulation, so I'm happy with where the Wombo is, even though I didn't get tagged in on that. I think that's fair. We'll see what we get here in a minute. Obviously happy with the buying that came in off of that zone. I do think we sweep them out. I like this fractal still in the middle of this zone as well.
Let's go.
Right, but
Let's go.
sitting on me hands like a dope. We'll see if you get a 5 minute validation, then it trades back in. That would be beautiful. Here it comes.
You got that OTE pulled from like the 1052 candle, yeah? I had like a little, that's like kind of weird.
Yeah. Yeah, but not from here. I didn't do this. I did that.
I'm in at 71.
Oh, well, look at you.
It's a great
That's a great move for you, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm stopped at break even though. This should run now. This shouldn't come back.
There's your 5 minute validation as well.
Yeah, it should just go.
Yeah, if I get an inside sweep, I can justify it, but
And if we do, I'm going back in again because that's kind of like a 5 minute sweep.
Yeah.
I'm just going to let this ride and see. I got TP at 224. If I can stop at break even, it gives me another.
yeah, I'm gonna hit that there. Right, just swept them all out. Strong buying, ideally. I mean, again, if this closes bearish, fine. Then I'll add on that sweep, and my stop will be underneath this candle. Right, but we should go now. We've just validated a 5 minute low. Right, you do have an imbalance here. That's fair. Right, we've achieved our lower time frame objective of trading back into this now. We're seeing clear signs of strength. And more importantly, the response of bearish PA is strong. Right, so I'm looking at this to trade at least to the 207. We'll find out pretty quick if I get to add on this. Right, looking at this low at 80. No adding opportunity, eh?
Send it, Ralph.
Right, it's 207.25. Right. It's interesting because those of you guys that essentially have watched us for so long, you're like, well, you guys like to be in here, and that's true. We do like to be in here or in here on the retracements with proper structure, right? But price action as well. If you're able to have a high probability continuation, right? Like, look at this. We gonna pass up 20, 30 points? That's kind of a layup. Essentially what we're saying, if that's the case, is, oh, come on now, that this can't go up any higher. That it's already moved and this was not enough of a retracement. But price is telling you that it's enough of a retracement. Nice trade, Demo. Beautiful. Oh, excuse me. Come on, run for me before I gotta go. I got 2 minutes. Play out. I might just have to manually exit for 20 points. Make sure that I don't get run here. School days, man. School days. Right, definitely into this fractal. That was the manipulation leg. Struggling a little bit, but still on the side of order flow. Happy with it. I'm gonna log off of If you guys are on YouTube watching this, pop into our Discord. We're going to be streaming live all day long. And all week long, actually, rather. Still holding this nonsense. We'll see where this goes.
I took mine off for 420 there, just.
Of course you did.
Yeah.
Easy layup. Easy layup. Stop this on.